Autumn is here and the living is easy. Welcome back, friends. I'm here once again, playing a thing called Ys 3, Wanderers from Ys, by Falcom. Ys 3 was originally released in 1989 for the NEC PC-88 and 98 computers, and in 1991 was ported to the major consoles of the era. In 2005, it was remade for PC and PSP as Ys the Oath in Felghana. The remake is generally considered excellent. Original recipe Ys 3 is not. You see, Ys 3 is kind of the Zelda 2 of the series. In both cases, a beloved and groundbreaking overhead view ARPG was followed up with a side-scrolling shift in perspective to decidedly mixed results and reception. In my own opinion, Zelda 2 has aged better, but Ys 3 is not without its charms. I actually did a fair amount of dickering over which version to use for this LP. The Turbo version has fantastic music, but is poorly balanced, jerkier than a Jack Link's factory, and needlessly renames the villain to something rather silly. The Genesis version looks and plays much smoother, but keeps the rename, is even more poorly balanced, and has an infuriating revision of the end boss with seriously bullshit hitboxes. Finally, the SNES version is the only English console version that keeps the bad guy's original name, but the music is really grating. In the end, I decided to go with the Turbo version, as it would make a good companion for my Ys 1 and 2 LP, and goddamn that soundtrack. So please, sit back, relax, and join me as we plow through the jank that is Ys 3, Wanderers from Ys.
Think back to your worst nightmare. The feeling of dark isolation and helplessness. The feeling that an evil force controlled your destiny. Perhaps we can compare these emotions with the terror that enclosed the people of Kenai. Their peace had been shattered by the domination of an evil demon named Demonicus. His long arms of decimation swept over the lands and burned all life in an inferno of slaughter and destruction. Yet even the worst nightmares offer some hope for survival. Kenai's fortunes lay in this stunning warrior of indomitable strength. His bravery was renowned throughout the land, as he had once saved an entire world from similar destruction. But now his challenge was greater than ever before. The insurmountable ferocity of Demonicus was frightening even to our courageous hero. But a real man never shows his fear. And Adol was, in fact, a most gallant soul. He battled Demonicus with equal intensity in this horrific struggle to the death. The skies had darkened, and the earth shook as Demonicus applied his brutal force and displayed his savage rage. There were to be no prisoners in this holy war of good over evil. Demonicus unleashed his awesome size and strength against our hero, but Adol's cunning wit allowed him to avoid and eclipse all of the alien's fatal blows. There was more than just a miracle behind this savior of tormented lands. Who could fight such courageous battles and manage to pull victory from such impossible odds? Who was this strange raider of evil foes? His legend and the legend of this land are about to be retold. The adventure is in the spirit of the warrior, and the warrior is you. Go now, Adol, and seek out these dark forces that oppress and terrorize the innocent lives of Kenai.
Almost 8 years had passed since Adol rescued the land of Ys from the Dark One. Adol and his courageous companion Dogi were wandering the lands in search of adventure. One day, they happened to hear a rumor about Dogi's hometown. They were told of a searing heat that had burned the prosperous fields of Kenai. The town had been infiltrated by gangs of dark and eerie goons. As Adol listened to these atrocities, his blood raged and his adrenaline flowed. Adol's next adventure was upon him.
Hey, Adolf! Smell that fresh sea breeze? The ship is in top shape. We're ready to shove off. Well, what do you think? Do you like the town?
Oh, excuse me.
Hey, why don't you look where you're going?
Say, aren't you Dogie?
Elena? I barely recognized you.
Dogie, you haven't changed a bit.
Very funny, Elena. Tell me, how's your brother, Chester?
I haven't seen him in the last few months. I'm sorry, but I'm in a hurry.
After so many years, we finally meet again, and now you've got to run? Adel, I'm going ahead to the inn. See you later.
Okay, so we've only just set foot inside the game, and already I have some issues. First of all, that choppy parallax scrolling there, that's not an emulation issue or anything like that. It actually looks like that on the Turbo. Why, I really don't know, because we've seen any number of other games on the system that had buttery smooth parallax, but not this one for whatever reason. Also, that line in the intro about a true man never showing his fear, that kinda makes me roll my eyes. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, that whole rather throbbing purple prose intro, the, whatchamacallit, the narrator seemed like he was talking about Adol, whereas from what I understand about the Japanese version, he's actually talking about the previous hero who first sealed Demonicus. And speaking of Demonicus, they made his name Demonicus. Maybe it's just me, but that name just makes me facepalm straight through the back of my head. In the Japanese, his name was Gabalan, and that's also the name they use for the SNES version. One more thing, the voice acting in this game is certainly not the worst I've ever heard, but it's a big step down from the first one. East Book 1 and 2 had a surprisingly good voice cast for such an early CD-ROM game, with folks like Jim Cummings, Alan Oppenheimer, Michael Bell, Debbie Derryberry, kind of an all-star cast, especially for the time. This one, they went with complete unknowns, and while some of them do a solid job, it's, again, a major step down. But enough kvetching, let's move on to the inn. The inn is a friendly place, Dogi. I used to work in this inn a long time ago. I have so many memories of my life in Serena. This place hasn't changed in the 10 years since I worked here. Repeating yourself already, Dogi. Something I should probably mention is that Serena's original name was Redmont, but I don't have an issue with that as much as I do with Demonicus, because, I mean, really now, fucking Demonicus. Oh, and in East Book 1 and 2, Dogi had been renamed for the US version into Colin, so, in case you weren't sure, the guy who was named Colin in my previous East LP, that's Dogi. Mayor Grady isn't home. Poor Mayor Grady. He seems so worried. Well, bad events are afoot, supposedly. Grandma Ada won't come out of her house since her son Roy died in the mining accident. This, I believe, is Grandma Ada's house. Indeed it is. Please leave me alone. Talking to nice young men like you reminds me of my late son, Roy. Aw, poor Grandma Ada. This town can't survive without the Tigre mine. If the monsters control it, we're ruined. And here is our equipment shop. I'm going to pick up an herb here. If I recall correctly, the 1,000 gold you get to start with is just enough to buy an herb plus the basic equipment. So hopefully I'm right about that. 100 gold? I'll do that. The herb will completely restore your health, but you can only carry one at a time. I've seen many people from Valestein Castle around here these days. It's like they're spying on us. And here we have the armorer, and I'll pick up that basic equipment I mentioned a moment ago. We will certainly be needing a sword. We're not even vaguely close to being able to afford the broadsword, so that one will be put aside for now. Likewise, the chainmail is 1500, a little rich for our blood. And a shield. There we go. Used up exactly all of our starting money. Might as well go ahead and get equipped. I'll leave the herb off for now just so I don't accidentally use it. I've been known to do that from time to time. One neat touch about this is that Adol's sprite is not mirrored. He has left and right facing sprites appropriately. I've never seen you before. Are you a traveler? Oh man, is Adol ever a traveler? What happened? He has come back to warn us about the Tigre mine. The monsters came out of nowhere.
Monsters! They came out of nowhere. Mayor Grady is still trapped in the mine. Someone must rescue him. Who are you? Really? A miner called Harvey already went to look for Grady, but we haven't heard from him since he entered the mine.
There's another beef I have with the voice acting. As you've probably noticed, it's very muffled, mixed really low compared to the music and sound effects. I'll increase the volume a bit to make it easier to hear whenever I do my editing, but it's still going to be kinda drowned out by the other sounds. Not a whole lot I can do about that, apologies. Now we're in deep trouble. The monsters have taken over the mine. Oh, no, I didn't want to talk to you again. Mayor Grady is our leader. If something happens to him, we'll be lost. Oh, same sprite, same dialogue. You're our only hope. Please find the mayor. It's dangerous out there, Sir Adol. Stay alert, walk tall. Right, onward to Tigre Mine. This is the map screen where you can move to any of the game's various areas once you know about them and have a reason to go there. Right now all we have is Serena, or Redmont if you prefer, and the Tigre Mine. Well, I guess that settles where we're headed. Now, in East 1 and 2, you may recall Adol's photosynthetic qualities. Whenever he was out in the open air, he would regenerate health. That is also true here. Whenever you're standing out at the beginning of an area, and the music track The Boy's Got Wings is playing, or Winged Boy, or however you prefer to translate it, that is an indication that you will be able to recover in this area, and we will be taking advantage of that many times. But for now, in we go. Absolutely love this track. Oh, by the way, we can swing left and right, obviously. If you jump and swing, then your sword will come down pointed at the ground, which can be very handy, and we can also stab very rapidly upward. Now, unfortunately, now that I've entered the game's first proper dungeon-type area, the first thing I'm going to need to do is grind. As I mentioned, this game is not balanced particularly well, and you start out incredibly delicate. You can see I've just been barely brushed a couple times, and I'm already missing half of my health. So I'm going to step outside immediately. Yeah, level 1 Adol is wet tissue paper. And I'm going to want to be level 4 before I really decide to go digging into the mine, and level 5 before I'm even ready to think about taking on the first boss. I'm going to go ahead and leave my grinding in just to give you a feel for the game. Besides, this music track is fantastic, and those first few levels will come really fast. If you heard that bloop sound there, that was me gaining my first level, putting me at 2. One nice thing about level grinding in this game when you need to, is that enemies very reliably respawn if you go off the screen and then come back. One thing you'll want to keep in mind if you ever play this with respect to respawning enemies there's a very nasty tendency of this game to respawn enemies when you reload. So if you save the game near where an enemy originally spawns, when you reload the game, it'll be right on top of you. This strikes me as an extremely bad idea and something that was probably missed in playtesting. I can't believe they wanted to do that on purpose, because in the harder areas of the game especially, where the enemies can take you out in a few hits, it's really easy to get yourself into a save that's going to make you die immediately when you reload. Let's see, where am I at level-wise? Still at 2, but I need just 3 XP to get to my next one, so that should only take a moment. Whoops. I have a bad habit of mixing up my buttons in this game. That's why I was concerned about accidentally using my herb. Oh, speaking of herbs, that is one thing that makes me kinda sorry that I didn't do the Genesis version. Its balance is absolutely horrible. The level to ability to progress is even worse than this game in some ways, but it did routinely spell herb with an A, and buying and using and talking about harb was always a source of amusement for me. Praise Jah, more harb. Now then, I am at level 3, I believe. What is my next level going to be? 500. Okay, just over 100 more XP. Shouldn't take long now, and then I'll be ready to start digging into the other parts of the mine. Not the boss quite yet, though. For my money, there's really no bad music in this game, but the Tigray Mine BGM is one of my favorites. Okay, if I recall correctly, that'll put me at level 4. Indeed it will, and I am ready to now start exploring. When I proceed into the next screen, you'll see that there are these blue ogre critters swinging clubs at you. Those are the guys that I didn't want to even try and tackle before level 4, because they do a lot of damage when your level's really low. And you can't completely reliably hit them before they kill you. Or kill them before they kill you. You can hit them, but they might not die. Whereas at level 4, they die pretty quick. There's some of that really jerky scrolling again. That bugs me to no end because there are so many games on the Turbo with really nice parallax and much smoother character animation. And we have our first ring, the Power Ring. Let's take a look at our rings. That's in the equipment. Now, the Power Ring doubles your attack power, I believe. It certainly increases it. I think it doubles it. And rings are how magic basically works in this game. Whenever you equip a ring, that ring number down there between XP and gold, that will slowly decrease, and you can get your ring power restored in town, or you can also replenish it slowly by defeating enemies. You know, I should probably try and break myself of the habit of swinging my sword constantly. I do that because enemies can rush onto the screen pretty quickly and hit you before you know what's coming, but it's kind of interfering with the other sound of the game, so I'll try and rein in my tendency a little more. And I do beg your pardon if I don't remember to. Well, we're almost at 800 XP, and level 5 is at 1000 XP, so it shouldn't be terribly long before we're ready for the first boss, which is coming up pretty soon. Roy's pendant. That kid who got killed in the mine, Grandma Ada's grandson. Maybe she'd like to have a little keepsake of him.
Who are you? Get out of here! Immediately!
What's going on here? Where's Grady?
Move! Ow!
I'll be okay. Who was that guy? Mayor Grady is still in there somewhere. I tried to find him, but the mine is too big. Take this key to the storehouse, where you will find a hidden sword. Hurry! Only you can help the mayor.
Hurry! Go back to the main cave. Seek the room up to the right. Get the sword from the storehouse in the upper right part of the cave. Okay, I like swords. However, to collect that sword, we're actually going to have to fight the first boss, so I'm not quite ready for that yet. Let's go ahead and take that pendant back to town and see what Grandma Ada has to say about it. I actually don't remember what happens if you show her the pendant, so I'll be rediscovering that along with you. There I go again, swinging the sword like crazy. I'm not button mashing or anything there. If you hold down the sword button, you'll repeatedly attack with whatever kind of attack you're doing. Which is why it goes so quickly for the upward attack, which has only 1 frame of animation. It's gonna be a good idea to go back to the beginning of the mine anyway, because I've taken some fairly nasty hits, down to a little over half of my maximum health. Getting really close to that 5th level, though. So I think everything will work out just dandy. Oh, there it is. Pretty decent amount of XP in these blue guys. Alright, almost there. We are back to the first screen. By the by, I will need to eventually do some grinding again. Unlike this time, unless I have a good reason not to, I will do the grinding off screen, so don't worry, you're not going to have to sit through me doing it every time. Ah, sweet photosynthesis. And back to Serena, or Redmond if you're nasty. And we'll see if Grandma Ada has any comment on that pendant. You, that pendant. It was Roy's! So, you're the one who went to help the miners. Here, take this ring for your kindness. Maybe you can stop all this wickedness. And there's our second ring of 5 already. The shield ring does pretty much exactly what you'd expect it to do, increases your defense for as long as your ring power holds out, or until you remove it. Now, I don't think I can buy anything good with the amount of money I currently have, but I'm gonna check just in case. Okay, we're a very long way from the broadsword. Okay, we're more than halfway to the chain armor, but still not quite there. What about the large shield? 6,000, quite a ways off. Not gonna be doing any shopping right now. Oh, and there are a few things at the shop you can buy besides herb. mirror, amulet, and necklace. To be perfectly honest, I don't remember what the mirror and amulet do. I remember they're not particularly useful and I never bother with them. The necklace, on the other hand, is a one-time resurrection item. If you die, then you'll come back to life and the necklace will disappear. 50,000 gold, though. That is, needless to say, some endgame stuff. And I think I'd better drop a save, just to be on the safe side. There's some saves from my practice run. Let's go ahead and save over number 5, because I seem to be very hurt in that one. Now then, anything else I need to do before I go and take on the boss? Can't think of anything. By the way, one very nice thing about Ys 3, and about all of its versions, if I recall correctly, is that you can save absolutely anywhere you want, except in a boss area. But at least in the Turbo version, again, that can be kind of a double-edged sword, because you can paint yourself into a corner very easily with a save that causes enemies to spawn immediately next to you or on top of you. And that habit of wandering around chainsawing with my sword is a really persistent habit. That's really ingrained in me. I do hope I can break myself of that eventually. Alright, now we wanted to go up and to the right for that warehouse with the sword in it. Didn't take too many hits on the way in, so I'm going to go ahead and update my save. Oh, that's right, this is considered part of the boss area, so I can't actually save here. Let's go outside and do it. There we go. Now then. Gonna want to have my herb at the ready, and we'll go with the power ring for our backup equipment here. And we shall now take on the first boss, Dolarn. You can crawl under those knives when they start to move horizontally, but if they come down directly on top of you, you will get hit by the point. And then, of course, there are also the three-way fireballs. The chainsaw approach works out pretty well for Adol here, though. If I'm real lucky, I won't even have to use my harb. There we go. And very kindly, you always get a health refill whenever you kill a boss in Ys 3. Let's take that herb off and that ring off. And we get the longsword. I have a very bad habit of forgetting to equip new equipment in this game, so we'll get that taken care of immediately. Do I recall correctly that there's some way to get flavor text about this? No, it doesn't look like there is. I might be thinking of another version. I want to say the Genesis one might have flavor text in. Well, no matter. We are now ready to proceed further into the mine. That miner who sent us after the sword, he won't let you pass until you've collected it. So we'll now be able to move beyond him. Oh, and by the way, something I should mention about Dolarn, that first boss. In the original Ys 3, what you've seen of Dolarn is all there is to see. You know, not really a character, certainly no dialogue or anything like that. In the remake, the Oath in Felghana, Dolarn actually becomes a recurring mid-boss and a character with a fair amount of dialogue. Kind of a funky change, but an appealing one. Don't chainsaw the sword all the time, don't chainsaw the sword all the time, don't chainsaw the sword all the time. Really gotta jam that into my brain. You'd better hurry and help Mayor Grady. Rather nice waterfall here. Shame that the scrolling gets super choppy again. At least it's a few screens with no enemies. Now let's see, our level is still 5, is it? It is. And our next level comes at 2000. Now the next boss I don't like to try and tackle before level 7, so I may have to do a little of that off-screen grinding I was talking about. Let's see how things go. Yep, here's the boss area, and I am 2 levels shy of where I feel I need to be. So bear with me for just a bit, and I will return when I am suitably leveled and ready to proceed. Yeah, a little carelessness even with minor enemies can kind of fuck up your whole day. Okay, 3000 XP and a mighty shit ton of dead caterpillars, and I am now at level 7 and feeling up to taking on the next boss. I can't remember if the next boss is a cakewalk at level 7 or not, so this could end up being hairy anyway, but we'll find out. I still have most of my health, so I feel I'll be okay going in. Whoa, what the hell happened there? My controller went nuts for a moment. As I was saying, I have most of my health, so I don't think I have to go back out for a photosynthetic recharge. We'll go ahead and put that in a different save slot anyway, just to be on the safe side. Let me make sure I've got all my stuff equipped properly. We will want to put on the harp, just in case. Alright, the next boss is named Elefale, and as you would guess from my needing to get a few more levels, is more dangerous than Balarn, but at least it won't be teleporting around all the time. That's really annoying. Okay, power ring goes on. I find a good offense to be the best defense in most cases in this game. And there Elefale is. From a distance, shoots out those waves, and when you get in close, blasts you with lightning. So you do have to play it a little bit conservative and not hang around and try and get too many hits in, because that lightning will fuck you up quite a bit. It can be difficult to consistently dodge the waves as well. I think we're doing okay. If I move in quickly enough, I see I can slip under the waves to an extent. I'm hurting, but so is Elefale, and that'll do it. Not bad, not bad. And we got a sunset statue. I'll take off the harp and the ring. And I believe we can now proceed to the right.
Grady, from now on, you'd better mind your own business.
You don't understand the power you're dealing with. It will destroy everybody, not just us, but you too, Pink Man.
Are you still here? I thought I told you to leave. How many times do I have to repeat myself? You are brave to oppose me, boy. This time, I'll let you go. But if you ever get in my way again, I will have no choice but to kill you.
Good job, young'un. Who are you? I'm sorry that you're in danger because of me. Let's leave this pit, my boy. Ah! My leg. Could you help me walk? Harvey, what will we do if the mine has been destroyed?
Oh, Mayor Grady. I don't know. Your name is Adol. Thank you for saving the mayor. Go now. The villagers must be told that he is safe.
Go and tell the villagers that the mayor is safe. Thank you. And at the risk of becoming a total complainy pants about this game, that is another thing that really annoys me about the voice acting in this. A lot of people will pronounce Adol's name as Adol, like Abel, only with a D in place of the B. I realize I'm splitting hairs, but it bugs me. Adol, you're back alive. Dogi must see you. Okay, that line we've seen before. Your line we've seen before. I'd like to stop in the armory, see what we can afford. If I recall correctly, the shield and the sword are way too much, but I think I would be able to afford the next level of armor right about now. Perfect. You're very welcome, sir. And as I've mentioned, I tend to forget to equip new equipment in this, so we'll get that taken care of right away. Yeah, I thought there might be some new dialogue from the townsfolk, but it doesn't look that way.
Adol, you came just in time. There's something I'd like you to do. But first, Elena, could you tell us your story again?
I'm afraid to tell this to someone I've just met. But if you trust him... This is about my brother, Chester. It has been half a year since he left Serena. It looks like he's working for King McGuire. I've heard bad rumors about Chester. They say he's been around Alcano Ruins. I found my brother's pendant near the entrance, so I know he's been there.
This might not have anything to do with Elena's story, but a priest named Pierre went to Alcano Ruins yesterday and hasn't returned. Adol, I'd like you to go to the ruins and look for Pierre. I'm concerned about the safety of the village. If you see Chester, tell him that his sister Elena is very worried.
Oh, I've forgotten to introduce myself. I'm Elena Studar. It's nice to meet you, Adolf, but I'm sorry to burden you with my problems.
Watch your step in there. It's a furnace. I hope the priest can be trusted. Well then, we've completed our first dungeon-type area. We won't need to go back to Tigray Mine for quite a while. And we have our next mission, to head into the Alcano Ruins, originally known as the Ilverns Ruins, and find the missing priest Pierre. Seems like a good time to leave off to me. Well then, friends, I hope you've been enjoying the trip so far. For all I grouse about this game, I really do have some affection for it, even if most of that is nostalgic. And I've gotten most of my issues with it already vented, so from here forward I think I'll be able to keep things a little more positive. Do take care until next time, folks. This is signing off. Today's Damn It Let Go of the Sword button has been brought to you by Justin Carpenter, Nolden, Zangamarth, Anonymous Benefactor, John Madigan, Sanguine Games, Misha Van Doren, Frank Grizzy, Tim J., Lolo De Puzzlo, Joshua C. Ritchie, Jared C. Rice, Sonic Rose, EX Potemkin, Alicia Goranson, Mechasaurus, DG Jono, Doug Russell, August Fortnight, Patrick Bellinger, Rob Lyons, Andy Kurland, Jarogue, Martin Schallenmakers, Mayo the Hedgefox, Hildegard Argelmach, IGV, Jazel, The Literary, and other generous souls. My sincere thanks to you all, and thanks to everyone commenting and subscribing and just plain watching. Knowing you're out there is quite the motivator. Be well, everyone, and I'll see you next episode.